not going to lie to you, Falcons fans, as happy as I am that the Atlanta Falcons went out and crushed the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football, I'm a little peeved today. Not peeved at any one specific coach or player on the Dirty Birds. No, I'm pissed at the media. I am pissed that no one is talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Instead, the narrative has been, well, the Buffalo Bills lost that game. No, the Atlanta Falcons beat the Buffalo Bills, and in very convincing fashion. In fact, there was only one talking head that gave the Falcons really any credit throughout the entirety of the national media, and that was this guy right here, Mr. Pat McAfee. And look, Pat McAfee might not be your flavor of host. He can be a little blunt. He can be a little, obnoxious. He can also be a little silly from time to time, but he is very entertaining. He does know football because, hell, he was a national football player for quite some time. But I'm going to break down what he said about the Dirty Birds, how he gave them credit, and why I believe later on in the episode it's not perfect, but this team has potential to continue on and go on a run. Now, before I do that, let's talk about those NFC South subs rankings. By the way, no. That is not Saints now. That is Aints now at 51,600. We have definitely caught up to them. We're at 42,618 subs. The Panthers report that was just started up, they've got like 233 after their last win. So, like the other 12 the other 12 Panthers fans that exist, they all subbed. But Buccaneers now is still riding out the bottom of the coattails while they struggle to find a host as well. So, do me a favor. If you love free Dirty Birds content, if you want to catch up to Aints now, do me a favor. Hit that sub button. We're covering it all day long, 365 days a year. Let's move on to what Pat McAfee had to say. That defense, they get slaughtered by the Carolina Panthers. Then Ulbrich comes back and puts on a masterclass against Josh Allen. Raheem Morris has gone in there and implemented a culture, and it feels like Penix is a guy, but it feels like Bijan Robinson is the guy. This Atlanta Falcons team just got a huge win on Monday night, and they deserve a lot of credit. Well said there, Mr. McAfee. Now, I'm not going to agree with everything that he just said because I don't feel like Michael Penix should have that classification as just a guy, at least not right now. He's only, 8 starts in? And we'll talk about Michael Penix later on in this episode and throughout the live stream. Don't worry. But one of the things, like I told you at the beginning of the episode, that I'm pissed about is the narrative about how Josh Allen lost and not about the Falcons winning. You do realize that in order to beat a team, you've got to score more points than the other one. Oh, duh, that's football. You've got to stop the opposing team when they get the ball in their hands. Duh, that's football. So stop giving me the narrative that Josh Allen lost the game. The Falcons defense put the pressure on Josh Allen and forced him to lose the game. Do you think Josh Allen just went out there and chucked the ball straight up in the air and said, 500, somebody go get it? That's why he threw the picks, right? No, the Falcons forced those turnovers. The Falcons deserve the credit for beating the Buffalo Bills. That is the truth. And if I look at just kind of the basic stat lines for the Buffalo Bills over the Atlanta Falcons, you can clearly see that in every single statistical category, from the big three from the Bills and the big three for the Falcons, Penix better than Josh Allen. Bijan smoked James Cook. And Drake London crushes Joshua Palmer. So all of the offensive playmakers for the Atlanta Falcons beat the playmakers for the Buffalo Bills. Does that sound like the Bills lost that game? No. So stop telling me that's the case. This Falcons team showed me on Monday night they are only bound by their own mistakes. If they beat themselves, they will lose. But when they come out buttoned up, when they come out with a game plan, and when they execute, they can beat anybody in the NFL. And if you take a look at the next 5 games, there are some tougher matchups, specifically Week 9 and Week 10. Those are going to be very tough games. The Patriots are a lot better than we thought, and where the frick did the Colts come out of? Left field? Because good God, Daniel Jones looks good this year. Outside of that, the Niners, very beatable. The Dolphins, terrible. The Panthers, come on. I know we lost 30-0, but you cannot tell me that you think the same result is going to happen against the Carolina Panthers in Week 11. So I'm looking at the next 5 games, and I say 3-2 at worst, 4-1 at best. You could drop a game to the Patriots or the Colts. You can, and you'll be just fine. I know we've got the Buccaneers to contend with, but this Falcons team is still one of the best in the NFL right now. And that's not a Moose take. That is a statistical fact. Their defense is number 1 overall statistically. Their offense, number 2 overall statistically. Why am I missing this? Like, what am I missing? What about the Falcons am I not getting correct? Now, I get it. When you go out there and you don't have a game plan and you have no energy and your quarterback makes mistakes, you can get shut out on the road and lose in dramatic fashion and make it look really gross like you did to the Panthers. But I thought what we saw against the Bills was more of what the Falcons are versus what we saw that Week 3. And I think a lot of Falcons fans forget that. Let's go back to the defense for a second. They limited the Bills to 2 of 9 on third down conversions. So not only are they good on early downs, they're good when it matters. They do not blink when they have to be great. 2 of 9 for Josh Allen is sensational. This team's only limit is themselves. Period. Like I told you before, if they come out sluggish, if they don't have a game plan, if they're taking a team like the Panthers, who are statistically and on paper worse than them as a roster, if you don't take every team seriously, you will lose games. And that's what I saw against the Panthers. So is it perfect? Of course not. But stop telling me this isn't a different looking Falcons team. And I'm talking to you, Falcons fans. Stop telling me that. It's not the same team. It is a different mentality. It is a different unit. It is a different feel. And if you love the Dirty Birds and you want to show them some support, if you agree with me, hit that thumbs up icon right now. If you are in the live chat, do me a favor, throw those thumbs up emojis in the live chat. I should see as many as possible. And this isn't me blowing smoke up your ass. This is me telling you the truth. I see this team differently than I have seen other Falcons teams in the past. But like I said, it's not perfect. So what are the tweaks that have to be made? Well, coming up, I'm going to tell you some of those tweaks. Some of it has to do with the defense. Some of it has to do with the offense. Mostly with some of the choices that Zach Robinson made against the Bills. But before I do that, I got to tell you about today's presenting sponsor, and that is our friends over at HelloFresh. Look, HelloFresh is the place where you can get some very tasty and healthy options. All you have to do is remember that this is not the HelloFresh that you remember. Fall is definitely here, and when it comes to those cooler nights, healthier meals, and heartier meals, to be completely honest with you, the craving for something warm and satisfying is there, and that's where HelloFresh comes in, bringing you comforting, chef-designed recipes and fresh seasonal ingredients right to your door. This season, they've taken things to the next level with their biggest menu refresh yet. Say hello to a whole new way to do dinner. It's tastier, getting steak and seafood recipes delivered every single week for no extra cost. There's 3 times more seafood on the menu now at no extra cost. Discover new seasonal produce each week, from snap peas to stone fruit to corn on the cob and much more. There's a reason that 91% of their customers say they feel healthier eating with HelloFresh. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/FalconsChat10FM now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals applied at discount on first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/FalconsChat10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. I'll have all of that in the comments and description of today's video. So if you remember my last video that I made, I apologized to Zach Robinson. I did, because I have to be a man. I have to recognize when I'm incorrect. I was wrong about Zach Robinson in this aspect. Since he's moved down to the field, the communication, the game plan, the creativity at some points throughout the game has been so much better. Everything looks in sync. Everything looks more crisp. And that's directly result, at least right now, a direct result of Zach Robinson moving down to the field. So the communication with Penix, the communication with the offensive players, and frankly, just a simplifying of the offense. Get the ball to Bijan. Get the ball to Tyler. Get the ball to Drake. It works. It definitely works. But, while I do give my apologies to Zach Robinson, he's not completely off the hook yet. Because now we got to talk about the second half offense. If you go back and look at the game, all of the creativity, all of the offensive firepower, it pretty much came in the first half. And I'm not the only one that saw that. The Falcoholic saw that as well. After a promising opening half, Zach Robinson's offense lost its rhythm and didn't get back until late in the fourth quarter. The loss of Jake Matthews definitely cannot be understated, but the issues go beyond his injury. The team still shows signs of an identity crisis in spurts. That's the key phrase there, in spurts. It is tempting to shy away from the pass when Drake London is performing at such a high level, but Z-Rob is too quick to go away from the run and will try to put the game on Penix's arm more than he should. Here's what I saw. There were moments when it was down near the 2-minute warning where all you had to do was run the damn football. Just run the football. And he started throwing, and there was almost a pick that could have gotten the Bills back in the game. Now, luckily, the Bills defender dropped the ball, and then they started running it afterwards. The way I look at this is simple. Zach, where was all of this creativity and willingness to run the football that you had in the first half? Where was it down the stretch of the game? It almost felt like he was trying to put the game out of reach. Like he was trying to make the score look better, more dominant. That's not what we need. You're already beating one of the best teams in the NFL. Win the game. You know what makes me more confident in you as a offensive coordinator and as a coach? Your ability to ice those games out, to win those football games, because there will come a time when you're not playing your best football and you still have the opportunity to win the game. Then I want to see you do it. I want to see you close it out. This was your test to close it out. And while they still won the game, it felt like at moments you could have given it back. So, is he off the hook? No, but it's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better. Now let's move on to the special teams really quick, because it's not just offense. It's not just defense, because the defensive run game right now, you got to have another tree stump in that middle. You got to have someone like Jeffrey Simmons to solidify that defensive line. But John Parker Romo, the Falcons still have a kicker problem. It's not as bad as Koo, in my opinion. But I'm not going to lie to you, it's not great. Here's what the Falcoholic had to say about the kicking game as well. The Falcons have little to no confidence in their kicking game. They bypassed the opportunity to go up 3 scores in the first half and allowed a block kick that looked doomed based on exit trajectory, meaning John Parker Romo kicked it low. When they finally did settle, the team has said it's always holding an open competition at kicker. But the reality is that once they give up Romo, there is no going back like you did with Younghoe Koo. All of this to say one quick, brief statement. Atlanta's not a finished product. The kicking is still a problem, right? I don't think John Parker Romo is the long-term answer. I think he was a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, and it helped for now. And can he be your guy for the rest of 2025? We'll see. But Atlanta's not perfect. No team in the NFL right now is. Even the Chiefs, who Colin Cowherd just glazed as the best team in the NFL, is 3-3. So there can be a lot of different paths to greatness. There can be a lot of different paths to the playoffs. Right now, we have to look at this from an objective standpoint. The Falcons, statistically, are looking like one of the most complete teams in the NFL. And this will be an unbelievable test, even given the injuries against the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Can you beat a team that is already off to an incredibly hot start? Because if you beat the Bills and you beat the San Francisco 49ers in back-to-back weeks in prime time, nobody can take that away from you. And you have to put the NFL on notice. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like today's video if you have not already. And as always, Dirty Birds fans, rise up and be cool.